You're sitting in your seat, buckled in, ready for your next destination. But have you ever truly stopped to listen? I mean, really listen to the incredible machine you're in? An airplane is a living, breathing symphony of strange and mysterious airplane sounds. There are whirs, clunks, dings, chimes, and roars. Most of us just put on our noise-canceling headphones and tune it all out, assuming it's just normal plane noise. But here's one of the biggest flight secrets you'll ever learn. None of it is random. Every single sound is a message. It's the plane talking to the crew talking to the pilots, and sometimes it's the plane talking directly to you. While many of these sounds are perfectly routine, some are critical signals for safe air travel. Ignoring them is a mistake many passengers make simply because they don't know the code. Today, this is the only guide you'll ever need. We are counting down the 7 primary airplane sounds you should absolutely never ignore. We'll explain exactly what they mean, why they happen, and what you should do when you hear them. By the end of this video, you won't just be a passenger, you'll be an insider who understands the secret language of the skies. This is one of the most important travel tips you'll ever get. Let's get into it. Let's start before we even leave the gate with a sound that often tops the list for any nervous flyer. You're likely on an Airbus A320, A321, or A319, some of the most common planes in the world. The doors are closed, the main engines aren't on yet. Suddenly you hear a strange, rapid sawing or grinding sound from underneath the floor. Woof, 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 woof. It genuinely sounds like a large, angry dog is trapped in the cargo hold. This is one of those plane noises that can be seriously alarming if you're not expecting it. So what are these airplane noises really about? That sound is the power transfer unit, or PTU. In simple terms, an airplane has multiple hydraulic systems for safety, like having several braking systems in a car. It's all about redundancy. At the gate, the plane might be using power from just one source, leaving the other hydraulic system without pressure. The PTU is a smart, powerful pump that uses pressure from that one system to power up and test the other, ensuring everything is perfectly balanced before the engines ever start. That barking is just the sound of that hydraulic pump working incredibly fast. Why hydraulics and not electric? Because hydraulic power is immensely strong and reliable, essential for moving huge surfaces like the landing gear and flight controls. So when you hear it, don't panic. Instead, feel reassured. It's a sign of a perfectly healthy and normal system check. You now know a pilot's secret that 99% of the passengers around you don't. All right, we're cleared for takeoff. The engines roar to life. You're pushed back in your seat and you feel that incredible acceleration. The plane lifts off the runway, and then, about 20 seconds later, you hear it. A loud, solid clunk or thump from directly beneath your feet, immediately followed by a low whirring sound that lasts for a few seconds, ending with a final, reassuring thud. This is another moment that can seriously increase the fear of flying. It feels like you've hit something, or a piece of the plane came loose. But this is a positive sound, signaling a critical and successful phase of your flight. You are hearing the landing gear sound. Think of how a car's wheels are always exposed. An airplane wants to be more like a sleek bird in the sky, hiding its wheels to reduce drag and save a massive amount of fuel. That process is a noisy one. That initial thump is the gear doors opening up. The whirring is the powerful hydraulic system pulling those heavy wheels and struts up into the fuselage. The final, satisfying clunk is the sound of the gear doors closing securely, locking the wheels in place. Inside the cockpit, the pilots see a set of lights change from red to green, confirming that the gear is up and locked. It's a sound of progress, a sound of safety, and a key part of safe air travel. Okay, we're at cruising altitude. This is the most common of all airplane sounds. That single high-pitched bing, this is, of course, the passenger call button, the airplane's doorbell. Simple. So why should you never ignore it? Not because it's a danger, but because its context is everything. It tells you what's happening in the cabin. The real reason not to ignore it is for your own etiquette and awareness. Understanding this sound means you know not to press your own button during the most critical times like takeoff, landing, or right after the turbulence chime has sounded. The crew is required to be seated for safety during these times, and your request will have to wait. By recognizing this sound for what it is, a simple, non-urgent request, you can better filter out the noise and be ready to pay attention when a more important sound comes along. Think of it as knowing the difference between a simple text message and a fire alarm. The sound is the same, but the context is what matters. Next up, the melodic, high-low bing-bong. This is the crew's internal phone system, but its meaning is more profound than that. This is the sound of normal operations. You should never ignore it because it tells you when the most intense phases of flight are over. For example, after the intense focus of takeoff, once the plane passes 10,000 feet, the pilots will often make this chime. It signals the end of the sterile cockpit rule, a federal regulation that prohibits any non-essential conversation in the cockpit during critical phases of flight. This chime tells the flight attendant team, "We're safe safe, we're at a stable altitude, you can now begin your cabin service. That's why you often hear it just before the smell of coffee starts to fill the cabin. It's the crew getting to work. You'll hear it again during descent. As the plane drops below 10,000 feet, the chime signals the start of the sterile cockpit period again. For the crew, it means service must end and the cabin must be secured for landing. For you, it's a clear signal that landing is imminent. It's a transition marker, and being aware of it makes you more connected to the journey. As the plane prepares for landing, you'll hear a new set of mechanical sounds, a low, powerful whirring, maybe even what sounds like grinding, coming from the wings themselves. You'll notice the sound isn't continuous, it happens in stages. If you look out the window, you'll see the very shape of the wing is changing with each sound. Large panels are extending from the front and back. This is another one of those plane noises that can seem alarming. You are hearing the flaps and slats being extended. An airplane wing is an engineering marvel, designed for high speed. To land slowly, it needs more lift. Think of it like a Formula One car changing its aerodynamics for a sharp corner. The plane is changing its wing shape to master this sharp corner of landing. The flaps at the back of the wing and the slats at the front extend to increase the wing's surface area and curvature. This reshapes the wing to be a high-lift device. Pilots extend these in stages, which is why you hear the sounds start and stop. They might ask for flaps 10, then flaps 25, depending on the approach. Each stage adds more lift and more drag, allowing for a much slower, stabler, and safer landing. The noises you hear are the powerful motors and complex gear systems moving these heavy surfaces into position. It's the sound of the aircraft masterfully preparing itself for a gentle return to Earth, a key safety feature of both Airbus and Boeing planes. Now we move from informative sounds to urgent ones. 3 distinct, low-pitched chimes. This sound is a serious warning. It's a direct order from the pilots to the crew, and it means pay attention now. In most cases, this is a turbulence warning. But what's happening in the cockpit when this sound is made? The pilots have likely seen a patch of rough air ahead on their weather radar. They'll immediately turn on the seatbelt sign. Then they send this 3-chime signal to the cabin to give the crew a final heads up to secure everything and get seated. But sometimes turbulence is invisible. It's called clear air turbulence, or CAT, a big cause of anxiety for any nervous flyer. What do pilots do then? They're already on the radio with air traffic control, or ATC. They'll be reporting the ride, asking ATC if other planes up ahead have found a smoother altitude. You might hear your pilot say something like, ATC, this is flight 123, reporting moderate turbulence at flight level 350, requesting a different altitude. They are actively hunting for a smoother path for you. They might also decide to slow the plane down to lessen the bumps, much like you'd slow your car down over a bumpy road. For you, the passenger, the 3 chimes are your cue. Get to your seat and fasten your seatbelt tightly. This is the most important reason to always keep your seatbelt fastened when seated, even if the sign is off. You might only have a 30-second warning before things get very bumpy. This is one of those flight secrets that truly is about your safety. Never ignore this sound. Finally, the rarest sound in aviation, the one you should pray you never hear, but absolutely must recognize, a loud, continuous, or frantically repeating alarm. This is the general emergency signal. It is designed to get the immediate, undivided attention of everyone. It means a critical situation is in progress, a loss of cabin pressure, a serious medical event, or preparation for an emergency landing. If you ever hear this sound, it's important to understand the hierarchy of command. In the cabin, the flight attendants are in complete charge. They are not just there to serve drinks, they are highly trained first responders and safety professionals who drill for these scenarios constantly, every single year, in hyper-realistic simulators. When an emergency happens, their training kicks in. They are trained to be loud, authoritative, and clear. Your only job is to stop, look, and listen. Look at the flight attendants for visual cues. Listen to their verbal commands. They will tell you exactly what to do, whether it's pulling the strap on your oxygen mask or assuming a brace position. Your quiet, immediate cooperation is the most important safety feature on that plane. It is the ultimate sound you must never, ever ignore. This is the peak of all airplane sounds when it comes to importance. As a bonus, let's talk about the powerful sounds of a successful landing. After the wheels touch down with a squeal, you'll hear a powerful roar from the engines. That's not the engines powering up for another takeoff. It's the reverse thrusters. Special doors inside the engine redirect the engine's massive thrust forward, acting as a giant air brake to slow the plane down rapidly. At the same time, you'll hear a whoosh and feel the deceleration as large panels on the top of the wings called spoilers pop up to spoil the wing's lift and help the plane stick to the runway. runway. These are the sounds of a safe and controlled stop. And one last sound decoded for when you're at the airport. Ever been sitting at the gate and hear a constant, high-pitched whining sound from the back of the plane before the main engines even start? That's the APU, or Auxiliary Power Unit. Think of it as a small third engine in the plane's tail that provides electricity for the lights and air conditioning on the ground. It's another normal sound that, once understood, makes the whole experience less stressful. So there you have it. From the gate to the runway and back again, an airplane is constantly talking. And now you understand its language. You know the sound of a healthy system check, the sounds of progress, the sounds of landing, and the critical sounds that demand your attention. You're no longer just a passenger, you're an informed traveler and insider. What other mysterious plane noises or flight secrets have you always wondered about? Let us know in the comments below. We read every single one, and your idea might just become our next video. If you learned something new and feel like a smarter traveler, do us a favor and hit that like button and subscribe for more essential travel tips. Until next time, fly smart and safe travels.